going on, everybody? This is Two Relaxation here, and welcome back to my channel. We have a new video here today. This video is going to be my top 5 favorite gaming franchises. To explain how this is going to work though, the franchise of course need to have at least 3 games or more, and I have to have beaten them. There are some franchises that I have played, but like I probably stopped on like the second game or whatever, so I won't count that. So it gotta be games that I have actually played like more than 3 of the same franchise and have beaten them and whatnot. But the reason why I'm making this video is, because it's fun. I just want to talk about some of the games that I grew up on and the impact they had on me and why some of these franchises stood out. Some of the franchises are gonna be like some obvious ones, some aren't. Like I wasn't the one who grew up on like Zelda or Final Fantasy and those games that people hold as like the holy grail of gaming franchises, so you won't be seeing those on this list, but you might see some familiar. But before I even get started to my main list, of course I'm gonna talk about some honorable mentions, starting with the first one. Some of these could have made the list, but I don't know, I feel like I had more of an impact with these other games, and as the franchises like got longer, like my decline of me playing them is like stopped, so that's why they went to like down to honorable mentions, but nonetheless they still have an impact. So the first game I'm going to talk about is the Devil May Cry franchise. Devil May Cry, I got into this game by watching my brother playing it the first time. I didn't understand what it was about. At first I thought it was like a horror hack and slash game, which I guess technically that's what it was, but once you get into Devil May Cry you realize that's not really what it's about. It's more about the hack and slash, but it's all about style. Like style points is like everything in the game, like coming from making your combos work, swapping your weapons to get good combos, get good style points. They even rank you on your style points in the game. Like you see a meter that keeps going up depending on how much work you do. Devil May Cry is an amazing game, well, franchise. You could notice that Devil May Cry 4 made things easier to play. Like I noticed that from when I played Devil May Cry 3. Like I beat Devil May Cry 4 on every difficulty. Devil May Cry 3 I'm struggling like on hard mode, so they definitely started like making games more simple with the franchise. And yeah, the next franchise I'm gonna talk about is Street Fighter. What's more to say, I grew up on this franchise. I could have put Mortal Kombat on here too. I actually like kind of played them both at the same time in my life, but something about like the Street Fighter, like I love the super techniques and whatnot. Like when you catch someone in that ultimate technique, like you don't really, there's nothing in that in Mortal Kombat. Like it's just straight up combos. Like that's why I never really got into Tekken as well, because it was like strictly combos. But Street Fighter was like, it was that flashiness about it, like, you know, hitting someone with the Shin Shoryuken. But yeah, it's just like catching people in that super move. Like even when you watch like that Evo moment when someone would that dude did the block on Chun-Li's attack with Ken, like just all of that, like the flashiness about it, like timing is everything to get these good moves down. So it's amazing. My next honorable mention would be the Mario franchise. I grew up on that. At the 64 was my first console, playing Mario 64, playing Mario Party. Played the majority of the parties. I kind of like skipped the GameCube era and kind of the Wii era, so that's why I'm not putting that on my list, because like after a while I stopped playing the Mario games, but they still hold weight. The next one is going to be the Tony Hawk franchise. Tony Hawk is like, I don't want to say it's my guilty pleasure. It's one of those games that is like, it's those franchises that was like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, you know, most growing up the way I grow up, you know, around the people I grew up around, skateboarding isn't really the most, you know, talked about thing to do amongst us, but it was like that game tapped into like that inner skater in you, especially like with the soundtracks. Like they put in dope music to like that pulls you in. Great. I think I want to say after Project 8 is when I started playing Tony Hawk, so that's why that's not on my list as well. I would love to play more, but every time I see like reviews and stuff for like the recent ones that came out, it's always just been negative stuff. So that's why I've just been holding off on like keep playing them. So I'm just gonna keep that one in like my nostalgia vault. I don't want to like taint whatever I already grew up on and what I loved about the franchise. And the last one, this one is amazing, but for nostalgia reasons, the reason why I didn't make the list. The Tomb Raider franchise, the remake version. Fun fact, I want to say Tomb Raider was probably the first PC game, like in terms of like a AAA title I ever played. And that was confusing as hell. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why I never got into it. But this remake came out, the reboot came out, and I didn't play the first one, so I held off on it. But it came out a while ago when it was like free for gold, so I downloaded it, played it, and fell in love with it. And around that time, the second one was coming out, so got that one. Second one was amazing. Then around this time I got my PC, and because the cycle continues, I got the third one on my PC, and I actually 100%ed that game actually. So that was amazing. It's a great franchise. I don't know if they're gonna make more. I hope they do, but yeah. And yeah, that's it. So now we will be getting into the main list now. So number 5 is going to be Grand Theft Auto. I mean, what's there not to say about this game? This game revolutionized the open world system. Like after a while, it got to a point where it was like GTA became a gaming category. Like when you mention open world games, and people be like, "Oh, like it's like GTA, but this like." Like everyone wanna lump it up with GTA. Like when you play Red Dead Redemption, like, oh, it's GTA with cowboys. Oh, Saint Rose GTA, but it's more like cartoony and weird. It's like it's not just, oh, it's an open world game. Like GTA became the staple of what an open world game was. Starting from the trilogy. I mean, I played all of them from the trilogy onward. Grand Theft Auto 3, just a great way to start things over. But it wasn't until Vice City, I got Vice City for PlayStation 2 and fell in love with that game. And fortunately, that was one of the games where I did not have a memory card yet, so I would have to, every time I played the game, I'll have to start over every time until I finally got a memory card. So that was like, it was torture, but it was amazing. Like I never got bored of it. It was like testing yourself. The best way to think about it was like when you play arcade games, like, you know, you get as far as you get, but once you run out of quarters, that's it. Like if you want to play the game, you play the game again, you're gonna have to start from the beginning. So it was like that. It was like trying to see if I can get further and further every time I played the game again. And then of course San Andreas came, but around that time I got Xbox, and the Xbox had a built-in hard drive at this time, so it was easier to save your games. So that was amazing. But of course San Andreas was just the RPG elements of it. Like you can make CJ do almost whatever, or make him be whatever. Like you want him to be skinny, he'd be skinny. You want him to be buff, he'd be buff. You want to be fat, he'd be fat. You want to own like businesses and do all this crazy stuff, like it was there. Like GT, like I wish they keep that RPG element into it. But it is what it is. GTA 4, the hype for this game was amazing, mainly because how they reimagined Liberty City to look like New York. And being someone who's from New York, I was like so immersed and in love with it because of like, oh, like I know these buildings, I know this place, I know this location. Like there's some locations where like I grew up here, like I know what this is. Like even when the game started, the first place he starts off in Broca, which is Brooklyn, which I grew up in. He's near Coney Island, which I visit that place often as a kid. Like seeing that place, like I know what this is. I know, like the relatability was there, and then the gameplay was just amazing as well. The only thing I wish, now looking back now, is that they fixed the coloring. Like everything was too dark. I ain't like that. But other than that, it was amazing. And it was the first time when it went online as well. You could play, well, this got the GTA mods, but officially online was GTA 4. And then we got GTA 5, which it's a good game. I didn't like the hand holding on the campaign. Like, you know, back then if you died in GTA games, that's it, you lose everything. But in this game, it's like there's checkpoints. Like literally you die, you can start right where you died at. Like you don't even have to, like you have to literally go back, get weapons again, go back to the mission, go from the start and do it all again. I hope you don't die at the same spot again. Like that was money, that was time. Like all you gotta do now is just press load up the checkpoint and you're right there again. So, like it was, I literally beat that game in a weekend compared to like Vice City. Like I said, I didn't even have a memory card, so how long it took me to beat that game was forever. Same with San Andreas. Like it took me a while to beat these games. I beat GTA 5 the weekend I got it. Like it was disappointing, but still it was fun. And then when online came out, online, it was supposed to be, I think GTA 5 is like, it's the game that could have made this went down to honorable mentions, but it was still fun. It had its moments, but the immersion wasn't there no more. Like I said, the RPG element from San Andreas wasn't there. They limited locations you can enter. They limit things you can do. So if like the immersion was halfway there. So that's that. And then we go on to the next game in our list. All right, so number 4 is the Assassin's Creed franchise. This is a love-hate, I want to say hate-love-hate relationship with this game. I got Assassin's Creed. I do not know why I got Assassin's Creed. Something about it intrigued me, but I got in it and I played it and I got bored of it. It was too much talking. You couldn't skip cutscenes. I didn't even know what the hell was going on halfway through the game. This was the point in time where I mainly only played games on the weekend, so that long gap between playing the game and you already forget what the hell happened. It was just like I didn't know what I was doing anymore, so I actually left it alone for a while. It wasn't until I had a history class and we was talking about like Jerusalem and all of that time period, and we started noticing like, oh, like these places is from the Assassin's Creed game. Like, oh, so this is where it takes place. Now we have a connection between history, like learning about it in my school, and now I'm knowing why things are happening, what's going on in this time period. So I decided to like dust it off and start playing it again, and I started enjoying it a lot more. I got the hang of it. I started understanding the mechanics a lot better, so I started moving through the game a lot quicker. And it's still like, it was good, but it was like something was still missing. Like, I don't know, like something was like, if this game came out with a 2, I probably would not got it at the time before I beaten it. It was like, I don't know, like it was like, yeah, I beat it, that was cool, I'm done. I'm not gonna put myself through that again. Until the ending happened, when we learned about all the secret stuff that's happening in the real world, the bleeding effect, the end goal. And this is around the time where all the conspiracy theories about the world ending in 2012 was happening, and the game was linking up to that at the same time. So it was like, oh, like this is deeper than just being an assassin and reliving your ancestors' history or whatever. This is something bigger. So I was intrigued all the way with the main storyline of what was happening in the real world. Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and it basically hit everything I wanted in terms of like story. It gave us the continuation to what was going on in the real world. It gave us the amazing Ezio, which he ends up getting a trilogy. It was just the Renaissance, which is one of my favorite point in times in history. That's something I would like to talk about in another, I don't even know, probably not here, probably in my podcast, but that's something interesting I want to talk about as well. The Renaissance is something interesting, but everything about that game is amazing. And then my personal favorite in the franchise was Brotherhood, because it just basically took everything that was great about Assassin's Creed 2 and expanded it with the Brotherhood feature, where you can recruit your own group of assassins. They help you out, you rank up, you work your way up to becoming the Grandmaster Assassin with Ezio. The gameplay just got smoother. It was just great. That was like that thing, and that was like probably the peak of Assassin's Creed for me as well. 3 was I didn't care much for the assassin storyline, and they ended it the way they ended it, and then it was like and then 4 happened. So when I was playing 3, they introduced the naval system, and I hated it. I really hated it, and I felt like the developers was like spying on me or something. They were like, oh, he hates this so much, so we're gonna make the next game completely naval. Well, not completely, but that was the whole point of Assassin's Creed 4. Like, you're a pirate and you just exploring on the ship, and I'm like, bro, like I literally beat that game without upgrading my ship at all. Like, unless I was forced to do it, I never did it myself. Like, I did not care about the naval system, and I was getting destroyed by like these strong ships. Like, I had to like will myself through these naval fights and try to bypass any ships just so I could get to the next island and just do my mission. Like, I did not care about that at all. And then they ruined the main storyline. It was just whatever. I played Unity, and then that's when I was like, I think I'm done. Syndicate came out. I skipped that one. I skipped all the 2D ones. I didn't want to play. I was almost done with Assassin's Creed. Origins came out. I was interested, but I didn't have the funds at the time. Kind of like at the point in time, I just built my PC. Like, I spent a lot of money building my PC and getting the parts and all of that. So I got a Christmas gift. I wanted a new mic to record, and lo and behold, the mic came bundled with the game. So I got the game for free with the mic, and that's how I played Origins. But yeah, Origins was amazing. Like, Bayek, which I felt he should have gotten his trilogy as well, because Bayek's story is kind of a sad one when you think of it in the grand scheme. Like, he did all of this stuff to build the Creed to make it what it's supposed to be, and only to learn that everybody that came after him ruined it. Like, the whole point of the Creed was to be hidden, be shadowed. Like, no one ain't supposed to know the assassins exist. And then obviously the reason why we was able to go back into the Animus and play with Altair in the first game was because they made themselves known that, hey, we're assassins, look at us. Like, had a whole freaking kingdom that was just like littered with assassins everywhere. So it's kind of a tragic story that, like, everything he worked for, everything he built, everything he sacrificed for got ruined by all the assassins that came afterwards. So I felt like he needs more justice explaining like what else he done for the Assassin's Creed before it got ruined. But amazing. I did not play Odyssey, and I did not play Valhalla, so that's why it's lower on my list. But being that I played a lot more than the GTA games, and I had I don't know, like, my nostalgia is there for GTA, but Assassin's Creed, like, I enjoyed it more for like the story element and everything that made me like be intrigued to get these games and play these games and learn the story and learn about history. Like, everything just great about it. But that's number 4, Assassin's Creed. All right, now we are number 3. This one is gonna be the Gears of War franchise. I mean, this is another game where I did not have the Xbox 360 yet. I was still on the original Xbox, and I went to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving. And he already had the 360, and he only had 2 games. My cousin, like growing up with my cousins and my brother, they always 2K was always like the game in rotation. That's all they played was 2K, and once in a while they would like get something dope that I like, and this was one of the times where he got it. So they were playing 2K. I was forcing myself to watch it because it was the fact that it was my first time seeing the Xbox 360 in person. So I'm like, I want to see like the difference between this and the original Xbox, and I was like, no, the graphics is amazing, but I just don't care about 2K. So like whatever. And then like after all my cousins left and my brother left, it was just me and my other cousin, who Xbox it was. He was like, yo, you want to see this next game? I was like, what? He popped in that Gears of War. Oh, I was like, bro, this game's, and it was co-op too, so like we could beat the games together. It was amazing. The first time I encountered the Berserker, I was sold. Got the Xbox. I got my 360 for Christmas, and funny enough, I did not get the Gears of War when I first got my 360. I got I think either I couldn't find it when I was getting it, like it wasn't in the store shelf for some reason. So I just opted out to get in the next games, which was Tony Hawk and another game which is gonna be on the list later. And then I got Gears of War, which was my third Xbox 360 game I got, and I was just hooked on that game, like playing it over and over, beating it over and over, trying to beat on different difficulties. And then Gears of War 2 came out. That game defined an era in my life where like everything was just all right with the world. Like even though things wasn't all right, but it was like, I don't know, something, that game made you forget everything that was wrong. Like just the story mode, the campaign, like the amount of times I've beaten that campaign. And this is before I even started playing online, because I wasn't even online yet. I believe Gears of War 2 came out. So this is what's crazy, like Gears of War 2 came out in 2008. We didn't get Gears of War 3 again until 2011. Like this is when they were still like taking their time crafting their games and like making sure the next game come out, so it's not just a cash grab franchise. Like I was sitting there spending all my time with Gears of War 2 until 3 came out and never got bored of it. And this was before I got online. I didn't get online until late 2010 or mid 2010. Oh, I want to say late 2009. I want to say 2010 though. Late 2010. I didn't get online. So 2008 to 2010, I was just enjoying that game just strictly off of his campaign. And then I got introduced to the online. Fell in love. Everything about that was amazing. The wall bouncing, the corner sniping. Just the fact that, bro, like it'll be me and my boys. We wouldn't even play ranked or nothing. We would just get in a private lobby. It'd just be all of us, and we just battle each other to improve each other's skills. Like that was just fun, like just going crazy and going wild. And then we got Gears of War in 2011. Like we wasn't ready to give up 2 just yet, but we gotta go forward. And then 3 came out, which just made the game more smooth. It was amazing. It did something that it haven't done since, which gave us a 4-player co-op campaign. I don't know why they never did that again, but it sucks. That was amazing. We were trying to beat the campaign, like 4 of us on insane mode. We was getting bodied by that Berserker Lambit. And then a game we do not talk about came out, kind of pushed the franchise back. I got it too, unfortunately, because I was just supporting my franchise, and I was naive. I was like, maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, it was that bad. And then Gears of War 4 came out. Great game. Feels great. It was amazing, but it just it didn't have that into it that Gears 2 and 3 had. And then Gears 5 came out. I played Gears 5 a bit. I did not beat Gears 5, unfortunately. But I had played the campaign a bit, and I had played the multiplayer enough to understand how it feels. I mean, it's same thing. So it is what it is. But it's a great franchise. Like I said, just off of Gears of War 2 alone is why this is on the list. Like, I don't even think like games like that, like I said, like that game lived, and it lived beyond Gears of War 3. Like there's been times when I was on my original my Xbox One, and I would go backwards compatibility, or I'll just get my 360 and jump into Gears 2, and people will still be playing it sometimes. So like now I think the game is dead, but it was the fact that like that game was still alive. Like that game was just everything. Like everything they introduced to it, the new animations, the new executions, the new guns. I remember like constantly watching the E3 gameplay reveal over and over and over, and then when I finally got to it in the campaign, I was like, oh, this is this part, and I tried to like recreate the moments that happened. Like it was just amazing. Like back when the E3 reveals wasn't deceiving, like the fact that I could almost pretty much recreate everything that happened at E3 like beat by beat was amazing. Like yeah, man. Yes, too. And like I said, that was one of my first time getting into getting into a new generation of gaming. It was a new franchise, and yeah, like it left a great impression on me to keep going. But that is that Gears of War number 3. Number 2 is going to be the Halo franchise. Now, piggybacking off of Gears of War, I mean, this is another one. This is what made me get an Xbox. This made me jump into Xbox and become an Xbox fan. Like I had a PlayStation 2 at the time. I still had my 64. You know, I still couldn't give that up. I still got my 64 to this day. But those were like heavy rotations. And then I went to my cousin's house. He had a PlayStation 2. This is the same cousin that I got introduced to Devil May Cry to, funny enough. But they got rid of their PlayStation and they got an Xbox. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Then I'm like, so what's this? Like I never really seen the Xbox before. So he's like, oh, it's the new console. And he showed me Halo. And I was like, okay, what's that about? And we plugged it in. Was it, bro? Like, there's nothing to say. Like, we didn't even touch the campaign. We were just playing Slayer. Like, it was me and him and his older brother, just us three, getting bodied by his brother. And it was just like, getting bodied was fun. Like, when losing was fun, and like you know, when you like lose so much, you like hate the game, you don't want to play no more. Like, nah, this game made me buy a whole console and a whole game. Not even, that's actually a funny story. But yeah, that game made me get a whole console and just say, yeah, I'm done with PlayStation. And then we played the campaign a bit, but we never beaten it. Funny enough, when I finally got the Xbox, I never got the original Halo. I actually got Halo 2. And that game was amazing. Like, it was, especially from being that I never beat the first game, in terms of like, yes, I didn't know what was going on, so I ain't gonna front. But not only that, it was like, it was such a big step up in terms of like the gameplay mechanics and the difficulty. Like, the game actually got a little bit harder, and I was like, this should be a terrible way to jump yourself into a franchise. But it was amazing. I loved everything about Halo 2. That game was just craziness. And then eventually I got Halo 1, so I was able to backtrack, play that game, beat it, and understand what was going on, and then come back to Halo 2 again. So I was able to piece the lore together. The fact that you could play with the alien this time, Arbiter, like, two sides of a story now. It's more deeper than just trying to save humanity. It's trying to save the universe. Like, it was just craziness. I did not, like I said again, I did not get into online gaming until 2011. So, I mean, not 11, 2010, my apologies. So the fact that I was playing Halo 1, Halo 2, strictly off the strength of its campaign, because Xbox Live did exist back in the original Xbox days, strictly off a campaign. Halo 3 came out. I believe that was probably the 4th game I got on my Xbox, if I'm not mistaken. The 360, when I got my 360. Love that game. Played that game to death as well. Played on different difficulties, trying to unlock achievements. Like I said, when achievements came into 360, like everything about that era, man, it's like so revolutionary. Like now there's achievements, there's something that you could work for, gave the game replayability. Like nowadays it's hard just to play games again, like play campaign games again. Like why do I want to come back and put myself through this again? It was like, I don't know, some of these campaigns don't be worth it. Like they be making these campaign games like too movie like. They focus less on the gameplay. You sitting there, you realizing you watching cutscenes more than you playing the game. And then it's like there's nothing you work towards to sometimes. I'm not saying all games are like that, but it's just like majority of the games that majority of the games that I played and beaten, haven't. There's been a few that I actually gone back to and genuinely like beaten again and played again and enjoyed it again. But when we had achievements for the first time, like collect all the skulls that's hidden in the map, do this, do all of that, all this craziness. I think Halo 3 introduced Forest World as well. Like you can build your own map, plus it was very limited. Then they improved on it on the later games, but it was like, yeah, so it's amazing. And then like I said again, when I finally got online, that was like craziness, like because this was different from like Call of Duty and stuff. There was really no aim down system. Like you're constantly shooting from the hip, so you gotta make sure you hit your shots. You gotta do the good old shoot them till you break their shield and hit them with a melee or hit them with a shotgun in melee. Like you just gotta know how to get that first. Like you just gotta be quicker than the next person. That's honestly what the killing someone about is. Like you just gotta be quicker than the next person and hit your shots. And then ODST came out, which I love that game. I was sad that there was no multiplayer for it. They made up for it by giving you Halo 3's like expansion packs for like the multiplayer, so that was dope. But still, but ODST was fun. That was dope. The stealth element to it. And then we got Reach. The hype for this game was crazy. Like I was so hyped to get this game. Everything about that game was just amazing. Like the campaign was dope. The special abilities, the armor locked, the jetpacks, all of that was dope. The multiplayer was dope. That was probably I want to say it's probably one of the first times I played the online beta. I think Halo Reach was probably the first online beta I ever played. And I remember staying up, it was a school night, and I stood up downloading that beta, and I just wanted to play it. Played like one game of it before I went to bed for school. And I was like, bruh, this is amazing. Just off of that one game. Then finally got the game, and that was the first time when they started changing the Xbox 360 cover cases and stuff too. It was just like everything about it was just like a new experience now. And then I think I skipped Halo Wars as well. I was actually gonna be I was actually one of those people who like not sure about Halo Wars, because those type of games aren't for me for the most part. But that game changed my mind. I actually enjoyed Halo Wars a lot, and I actually played it online a few times too. That was fun. I really didn't know what I was doing, but it was still fun. Halo Wars 2 was great. I think Halo Wars 2, if I'm not mistaken, no, sorry. I was gonna say that was probably one of the last Xbox One game that I bought physically, but I think Modern Warfare was. But yeah, like Halo Wars 2 was dope. Halo 4 was the multiplayer was fun. I didn't really care for the campaign. When I got Halo 4 originally, I actually did not beat the campaign. It wasn't until I got the Master Chief Collection where I actually ran through all the games and finally be like, oh, so that's how it ends. Did I beat Halo 5? I know I played it. I'm not sure if I beaten it. If I don't know if I not beat. I do know how it ends, but I do not know if I watched it or if I played it. I don't think I've beaten Halo 5. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But I definitely played it. I didn't really care for it. I didn't own it, so that's why I'm not sure if I beat it. That's what I'm saying. And then is there another Halo I'm missing? I don't know. I think 5 was the last one, and now we're going to Infinite, which I'm kind of excited about. Mainly, I'm excited for campaign. I don't care. Like, the beta has been out since I've been recording this. I have not played it. I'm not interested in playing it. Like I said, my hype for games have decreased since Reach till now. Like, Reach being the first beta I ever played and staying up late just to play it to now. It's like, oh, the beta is there. I don't care. I'll just wait till the game come out. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. If that Infinite would bring the list, bring it down on the list or higher, but who knows. But for what Halo has done for me and I mean, yeah, Halo was there for me through all my Xbox generations, from the game that caused me to get an Xbox to again Halo 2, then 360, Halo 3, all of those, and then Halo 1 got the Master Chief Collection. And yeah, let's see where we go with Infinite. Well, I'm most likely gonna get Infinite on PC, but yeah. So we'll see. But that's number 2. And we are here on number 1, which this might probably be the shortest one because I previously already just made a whole entire video dedicated to this. Number 1, of course, is the Sonic franchise, and specifically the 3D franchise. I played majority of the Sonic franchise. I played 2D ones. I even played Sonic not Pinball. Yeah, it's Sonic Pinball. I was gonna say Spinball, but yeah, trying to correct myself and thinking too fast. But I played Sonic Pinball without even knowing that's what it was. Like, I just put it in. I was like, oh, it's a Sonic game. I'm just gonna play it. And I was just waiting for, like, when am I actually going to start running? I'm like, I'm noticing that I'm constantly just on this board and bouncing around. And I was like, oh, this is the game. But it took me a while to hit that. I was still enjoying it for the most part. But yeah, like I said, like, I dedicated a whole video if you want to know how I truly feel about the 3D era of the Sonic franchise. Go to that video. I'll link it in the description or whatever. Whatever people do to advertise the video. But to piggyback off it, like, yeah, like I said, when I got the 360, the second game, the first 2 games I got was Tony Hawk Project 8 and Sonic 06, which I know a lot of people like to hate on Sonic 06, but my experience with Sonic 06 was actually a pleasant one. I haven't really dealt with no glitches or bugs that I can think of that made me hate the game. So for me, the game was actually a smooth experience. The story was cool. Of course, as you get older, you understand the story a little bit more. That's why when I explained in the video that the game felt like it was more actually Shadows and Silver story compared to Sonic. Sonic was just a dude who, like, he had to sell the game because, you know, when we got Shadow the Hedgehog by himself, it was questionable. So they had to put Sonic in there to sell the game, I guess. Like, Sonic's story has almost nothing to do with the overall game except for the fact that Elise was there and she's the center of the whole game, and Sonic just happens to be the one protecting her at the time. But literally, if they could have made anyone do that and remove Sonic, it would have still been the same game. But still, it was amazing. I played Sonic Generations and even Sonic Shuffle, like I want to say the copycat of Mario Party. That was amazing. Like, yeah, like everything I loved about Mario Party, but with Sonic characters, like what's there to not like? I even when I had the Vita, Sonic All-Star Racing Transform, that game was amazing, which was like a rip-off of Mario Kart, but like I said, with Sonic characters, it was just dope. Like everything about it, like it's like as long as you slap Sonic on it, I'll probably enjoy it more than Mario. But yeah, like everything about Sonic, like that's my childhood in a nutshell. That's my peace of mind in gaming form. But like I said, if you want, there's nothing more for me to say that I have not already said in that whole video. So if you'd like to know more, please watch that video. And with that being said, these are my top 5 gaming franchises with my honorable mentions. Feel free to comment below what your favorite gaming franchise were. If you agree with my list, disagree with my list, or you felt certain games should have been higher on the list or whatnot. Or maybe you have a whole entire list differently. Like I said, I know most people who love the Zelda franchise, the Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, those games, but you know, that wasn't what I was playing when I was growing up. These were most of the games I was playing. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Please like, share it, and yeah, have a good time to the next video. Peace.